Have you ever clicked Login with Google and wondered how an app works without asking for your Google password? This is a very common question, and the answer lies in something called OAuth2. Let's first understand the problem. In the past, applications used to ask users directly for their username and password. This was very risky. If an app stored your password or got hacked, your entire account could be compromised. Sharing passwords with third-party applications is simply not safe. That is exactly why OAuth2 was introduced. OAuth2 is an authorization framework. It is important to understand that OAuth2 is not authentication. Its main purpose is to allow an application to access user data without knowing the user's password. Instead of sharing passwords, OAuth2 works by sharing permissions. Now, let's look at the main roles involved in OAuth2. First, there is the user. The user is also called the resource owner, because the data belongs to the user. Second, there is the application. This is called the client. The client wants access to some user data. Third, there is the authorization server. This is usually a trusted provider like Google. It handles login and user consent. Finally, there is the resource server. This is where the actual data lives, such as Google Drive APIs or profile information. Now let's understand the OAuth2 flow at a high level. First, the application redirects the user to the authorization server, such as Google. The user logs in using their Google account. After login, the user is shown a consent screen. This screen clearly lists what permissions the app is requesting. If the user approves, the authorization server sends back an authorization code to the application. This authorization code is temporary and short-lived. The application then sends this code to the authorization server and exchanges it for an access token. This access token is what the application uses to call APIs. The access token never exposes the user's password. It only allows limited access based on the permissions granted. Let's understand this with a real example. Imagine an application that wants access to your Google Drive. When you click Login with Google, you are redirected to Google's login page. After logging in, Google shows you a permission screen. For example, it may say the app wants to read your Drive files. If you approve, the application receives an access token. Think of this access token as a temporary digital key. It works only for a limited time, and it only allows the actions you approved. This brings us to an important concept called scopes. Scopes define permissions in OAuth2. For example, a scope may allow the app to read your profile information, access your email address, or read files from Google Drive. If an app does not have permission for a specific scope, it cannot access that data. This gives users full control over what an application can and cannot do. One more important thing to remember. An access token is used to access APIs. An ID token is used to identify the user. They serve different purposes and should not be confused. So let's summarize everything. OAuth2 avoids password sharing. It uses tokens instead of credentials. It provides limited, permission-based access. And it gives users control over their data. Thanks for watching. This was a demo video to explain OAuth2. In the coming days, I will start full tutorials on Java.